He had his chance to walk away a winner, but Mr. Brady wanted to win twice, and guess what happens? You lose your wife.
Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to The Sports Scene with Jesse O.
Like they say, it's supposed to favor the underdog. How about C.J. Baxter on this one? There's no way. Actually, there is. He is that guy. 30, 20. Someone's coming for him. Nobody's going to get him. Touchdown, Edgewater.
He had his chance to walk away a winner, but Mr. Brady wanted to win twice, and guess what happens? You lose your wife.
And watch this. He slows down here just to make him miss as well. Gives him the stiffy of all stiffies.
And kill 7 seconds. But a flag's on the field. The ball's loose. And it's going back the other way. It was picked up and it's taken in by DJ Hardy. Game over. Northside calls it.
Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to The Sports Scene with Jesse O.
Oh, lay a nuke in the outhouse and call me Shrek. Yep, it's me, Jesse O. Welcome everyone to The Sports Scene on iHeartRadio, iHeartRadio Podcast, and YouTube, presented by First Bet and Sports Fluent Media. We've got a great show for you, continuing our trend of getting people all around the sports media world to come on the show. Our special guest is an ESPN broadcast manager and happens to be me and Alvin's director for our games up at UNF. The absolute GOAT of the production world, Kyle Johannes, joins us in about 12 minutes. But first, please welcome back our dynamic duo of a frat party and a natty light. And by that, you know I'm talking about my favorite color analyst, Mr. Alvin Delvey, who had a great weekend last weekend with me calling beach volleyball up in Jacksonville on ESPN+. You guys should go check that out, by the way. Shameless plug. And guess what? That's right, the other one is here as well. The resident couch correspondent, Max Ronquillo, is here, and we'll be giving Charles Barkley and San Antonio a run for their money again. So glad to have you both with me, and before we get into our top 5 sports stories for the week, you know I have one question for you. Alvin, we're going to start with you this week. The question is, what was banned in Indonesia for stimulating passion?
Viagra?
Having a great guess. Incorrect. It's like a very basic object that just you have around the house to play with sometimes. Max.
Banana.
Almost. That's a great guess. That was actually the answer to our question from last week, our trivia question from last week. Also incorrect. Gentlemen, the answer is hula hoops were banned in Indonesia for stimulating passion. Imagine you got your hips going in a circle and then you get too much blood going to one location and they ban them for that's wild. That's actually crazy. Anyways, we got a lot to roll through in this show today, so we're going to get right into our top 5 sports stories. We're going to start with number 5, some college sports for you all. We're actually not going to really be talking about it this week because of all the games that are happening this weekend, and then obviously the show comes out on the weekend, so we can't say anything with any preemptive knowledge yet. But I will say the Iowa Hawkeyes 94-87 win over the LSU Tigers in the NCAA Women's Basketball Elite 8 was the most watched women's college basketball game in history, averaging 12.3 million viewers on ESPN. The viewership surpassed the previous record of 11.84 million set in 1983 and is more than double the prior largest audience for a women's game on ESPN. The game was also one of the most watched games in any sport other than NFL football over the past year, even surpassing all but one game in the NBA Finals and the World Series. So just wanted to bring a little light to how much women's sports are growing in the last couple of years. Most watched women's college basketball game ever. Super exciting. Also very excited for the games this weekend as well. Let's get into our number 4 sports story. We're going to talk about the MLB, but not what everyone's thinking. We'll get to opening day in a second. But the Oakland Athletics are moving to Sacramento for the next 3 to 4 seasons with an option for a 4th year. While their new stadium in Las Vegas is being built, they rejected a lease extension to stay in Oakland and will play at Sutter Health Park, which is significantly smaller than the Oakland Coliseum. The A's will likely share the stadium with the Sacramento River Cats, which is the AAA affiliate for the San Francisco Giants, which means that there will be a lot of baseball games played there this season. We're going to talk a lot more about that MLB story with the Oakland Athletics and everything with Evan Giddings coming up in the next few weeks. Our number 3 sports story, the NFL. The Buffalo Bills traded star wide receiver Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans in exchange for draft picks, none of which were a first-round pick. The trade comes after Diggs' production dipped in the second half of the 2023-24 season, and there were questions about his commitment to the team. The Texans are adding Diggs to a young offense led by quarterback C.J. Stroud. The Bills will have to replace Diggs' production with a receiving core that now includes free agent additions of Curtis Samuel, Matt Collins, and Khalil Shakir. Interestingly, both teams received updated Super Bowl odds after the trade, with the Texans improving slightly and the Bills getting a small bump to win the AFC East. Alvin, what do you think of this?
Well, overall, I think for the Texans, they're doing all the right stuff. They've done so much in the offseason. I think this is really the era that we're going to start saying Texans are very relevant, because in this receiving core, I love Mechie, John Mechie, the third out of Bama. He had his injury early on, and he had some difficulties health-wise that it seems he's clearing up, because he was a burner. He's a true burner. Love what he's going to be able to do. Robert Woods is a true vet. And now you bring Stephon Diggs in, and with C.J. Stroud and what they've been doing with Tank Dell, and I'm very excited to see what this offense is going to look like, because a guy like C.J. Stroud, you give him a guy like Stephon Diggs, let's not forget who Stephon Diggs is. When he was with Josh Allen, when they first came to the Bills, Josh Allen had a tremendous uptick in all his counting stats, essentially. So you bring a guy like that to C.J. Stroud in his second year, I think that's perfect. But for the Bills, owner says they're not giving up, and this is, they're just retooling essentially. But it's hard to replace a guy like Stephon Diggs. Obviously, there was some stuff going on in the locker room that we're not privy to, but obviously was impacted. He had less receptions, receiving yards. He had one less reception. So stat-wise, he's relatively the same, but then the stuff you're hearing about drip feed of negativity in the locker room, there's issues with him and Josh Allen, all this extra stuff that you don't need on a program that's trying to do the things that the Bills are trying to do. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do as far as retooling, because I don't think there's a guy that you can replace Stephon Diggs with, but there's ways you can get it done. You can get a receiving back. You can get a receiving type tight end like a Travis Kelce build type, where you're going to facilitate your offense through him. So I'm excited to see which way they go and which direction they go through.
Max, what you got?
Yeah, I absolutely agree, especially with just that electric offense that they already had. Tank Dell was going to be a monster, probably candidate for Rookie of the Year offensively until he got hurt, unfortunately for my fantasy team. But, C.J. Stroud no one thought he was going to be as great as he was. And now in his second year, this is like A.J. Brown going to the Eagles. So this is that type of move right here, where it's going to just take this offense just to that next level, to the championship level potentially. And same thing with the Bills. There's, as Alvin was saying, there's definitely some locker room talk. You could see it on the field at every game where Stephon Diggs would be pissed that the ball's not going to him. But that's not going to make Josh Allen better, I don't think. Losing someone of that caliber, losing a top leader, who can talk to the young guys and mold them into be better players, it might make the locker room feel a little bit better. But iron sharpens iron in this league, in all professional sports, and you need that type of just intensity at all times. And if Josh Allen's not able to take someone like that and win football games, I don't know what he's going to do without someone of that caliber. So excited for the Texans, and Josh Allen's going to be another trash quarterback probably. So see ya.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, I kind of agree with that. Also, Nico Collins ain't no slouch either. He's a dog as well. So now they have Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell as their wide receiving core for C.J. Stroud, who was an offensive player or offensive rookie of the year. That means this team is going completely in the right direction. And obviously, I got a lot of love for their head coach. So if there is a team that I would like to see, go in the right direction, it is the Houston Texans. All right, let's get into our number 2 sports story. Let's go into some actual MLB stuff, because what an opening week and opening day. The Los Angeles Angels and Orioles got things started with Corbin Burnes delivering a dominant debut for Baltimore. Things really got heated up with 8 games starting just after 4 p.m. Eastern time, highlighted by a thrilling New York Yankees comeback win over the Houston Astros in a showdown in Texas. And the Texas Rangers raised the first World Series banner in franchise history before beating the Chicago Cubs in manager Craig Counsell's Cubs debut. And finally, the Arizona Diamondbacks made a loud statement with a 14-run inning against the Colorado Rockies. Also, we saw a no-hitter thrown in the last week as well. Max, what did we see? What did we learn in the first week of games as the season got started?
I'm glad you brought up the no-hitter because there was a tweet that I saw from one of my followers that I just kind of wanted to bring up on air, talking about Devin Booker dropped 50, a no-hitter was thrown in the MLB, and I couldn't care less. Women's March Madness for the win. And let me just educate the viewers on how terrible of a tweet that was, okay?
I think it was a great tweet.
So this guy, this pitcher for the Astros, his opportunity to throw a no-hitter is a dime a dozen. This story, I couldn't even believe that the story continued after I kept reading it. So let me just drop a few facts. This is from Baseball Doesn't Exist. First of all, this guy didn't start pitching until he was 18 years old. Didn't throw a baseball until then. Then after that, when he was 22 years old, he was washing cars in the Dominican Republic, finally signed a contract with the Astros for $5,000. That's less than I make in a month. That's less than what I make in a month. I signed a contract for $5K. He spent 7 years in the minors as a reliever. Finally started his first game ever back last year at 29 years old. Most of his pitching was 40% slider, changed that to 40% changeup. Those are all of his strikeouts. It's a beautiful gem of a game. And he's probably going to make the Astros super electric. And he had a kid that week. Like, that guy owned life. Absolute dog. And it was like the first few weeks of the MLB season. And we're seeing this type of performance. That got me fired up. What also got me fired up was Bryce Harper, 3 home runs in one game.
Oh, yeah.
We had Mookie Betts leading in every single category, whether it be hits, walks, OPS, home runs, offensive WAR, defensive WAR, whatever it is. He leads the MLB in all of it. Angels are crap. Who would have saw that? Like, Mike Trout hits a home run first at bat, and then the entire season, goes down the drain after that. That's the state of that team and Mike Trout's future as a whole, unfortunately. And so we're going to see a lot of great baseball. We have a lot of great teams. Orioles are going to probably win 100 wins at this point. Their catcher's amazing. And yeah, a lot of great stuff. Shohei, bummed some woman who got his first home run, and so that's a whole story in itself. Yeah. Shohei's just, PR team needs to fix that guy. But yeah, hey, baseball's back, baby. Lots of great storylines, and I'm sure this is going to be an insane year because there's a lot of electric teams. And if I had to say a team that's going to win the World Series, I think it's going to be the Phillies. I think it's their year this year. Yeah.
Really?
I think it is. I think Bryce Harper is here for some revenge, and it's going to be awesome to see. I'm not going to lie. Dodgers have many years down the line. They got a great team. Their new pitcher from Japan, he's looking really great too after that first terrible loss in San Diego or against San Diego. But yeah, I think Philly's got it. I called the Rangers in the playoffs last year, and I'm going to put my stamp on Phillies this year.
Okay, well, we'll actually give you a redo once the Phillies are out in the playoffs this year. Because once the playoffs start, we'll give you a chance to make a
I'll do another one, but right now, book it, Phillies.
Yeah, and one thing, I think you're saying Phillies because you want to see the city burn, right? No matter what, correct?
I mean, it's part of it. It has been a few years since we've seen someone eat poop, horse poop to be exact, and so it's just for the Twitter culture. Now that's called X. X hasn't seen someone eat horse poop before, so it would be nice. But also because I do have a strong affinity for Bryce Harper. I mean, him hitting 3 home runs in one game is electric. They also signed their one pitcher who's an ace for 5 years. And I know he's going to want Zach Wheeler. He's going to want to be a dog and win a lot of games. Great team. And I want to see great teams win. And I think Bryce Harper deserves to win a championship personally.
I agree. Bryce Harper, one of the best in the league. Also, I don't know if you guys saw the video of Shohei Ohtani, super happy to be at Wrigley Field and everything. Also because there's a sports book attached to Wrigley. So not want to call too much attention to that, but we all see things. So Max, what do you think about that one before we move on?
Like I said in the last episode, that I was on, I wouldn't be surprised if things happen towards the end of the year where they really start to lock him down, and because there's just a lot of shadiness in this whole story. We still don't know the full thing, and there's always going to be a lamb that has to be slaughtered, and unfortunately, it was his translator.
Yeah, and his translator's probably back in Japan now, so no way we're getting any more answers out of
His
him.
green card's revoked, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
He can't work here.
Yep. So we'll see what happens with the whole Shohei experience. Hey, our number
Joe Biden
one
deported him.
sports story. Max, how does a taco say grace?
It prays on its knees.
Let us pray.
Ah,
Get it?
I was trying to think of someone with cheese.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, kind of similar. Okay, anyways, we shouldn't get into that more. Stay tuned because Kyle Johannes joins us for a one-of-a-kind interview next on the sports scene. And now we're back here on the sports scene for our second segment. Thanks for joining us for this episode, everyone. On this show this week, we got to interview Kyle Johannes, who is one of our favorite people to work with in the sports world. He is an ESPN broadcast director, and we love everything he has to say to us. So check out our interview with Kyle Johannes next here on the sports scene. We are joined by our favorite guest, maybe ever, that we will have on this show. He is absolutely the GOAT in the broadcasting world. You know, one thing we like to do here on the sports scene is give you a little look behind the scenes at what makes sports media and drives, you know, the sports industry forward. And that's all of the directors and all the producers that make all these broadcasts possible that you see on ESPN, that you see on CBS, that you see on Fox Sports. So we are joined by someone we get to work with pretty often here, a broadcast manager for ESPN Plus, Kyle Johannes. Thank you for coming on the sports scene. We're so happy to have you. Hey, happy Easter to you and your family. Have a good weekend. I know you got a Sunday, Monday off. Was it a good weekend off from, you know, you're usually doing games every Sunday. So how was it?
Yeah, it was good. And, just it's always good to get a couple of days off. You know, our schedules are so busy, especially in the spring on the weekends with baseball, softball. So getting just that extra time to, you know, go home or just, you know, chill out, you know, whether it's with family or just by yourself is always needed and appreciated to, you know, for what we do on the weekends, especially in the spring.
Absolutely. I think I speak for Alvin and I when we both say we're really excited to have you on this show to kind of learn about, you know, your background and how you kind of got into this, because everyone gets into this industry so differently, and every single person you talk to, they have a different story. So I know that you went to University of North Florida, which is where you crew the broadcast, and you are the broadcasting director there for the ESPN broadcasts. And you returned to UNF, where you first started as a student from 2016 to 2018, right? And then you became involved with the ESPN Plus broadcasts that were primarily student produced. That was your first experience with ESPN Plus, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. And I came in 2016, had transferred, went to community college, transferred in, and really didn't have a huge idea exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something in communications or media or something like that. And then had a guy I knew that, you know, was going here that from high school, and we were touched, and he's like, hey, you know, got back in touch, and he's like, hey, is this ESPN3 group? This was back when it was ESPN3 still, and, you know, went and he's like, yeah, just come on by and talk to this guy in the athletics office, and you'll get, we'll get you can check it out, you know, see how much you like of it. And basically 2 years later, I, you know, ended up being involved so much that I loved it and just got to learn a lot of different things and had a lot of really good mentors. And, but yeah, it's really shaped my career. And then it's kind of cool to come full circle and be back working here where I first started as a student. So a lot of the same equipment, even some of the same people are still here. So it's really cool to kind of see that.
That's pretty incredible, honestly. Hearing that and hearing that's how you started, and you start off as a student, and it's pretty organic because you went to the school while you're in college, you're essentially running that role and getting your experience there. Is that why you do what you do now? Because very humble. I love how humble you are. But now that you're at the helm, it seems like it's a priority to make sure you have students come in and you're very in touch with professors to make sure that they can come in and get real experience there. And you're making sure everyone gets the same experience you did. Was that a goal coming in when you got the job to make sure that you pay it forward and do the same thing with the youth now?
Yeah, for sure. Just looking at, the industry today and in all careers, like you need experience, and especially in this type of role, you need to have that experience to get good at what you want to do. You can't just have a degree anymore for a lot of things. And especially in this type of, it's such a niche, unique area of, career that you're dealing with all sorts of different types of equipment that you can't just get anywhere else. You can't just walk up into a classroom and have it. In some schools you will, but here especially, you need that experience. So I definitely wanted to pay it forward to the students that we have here at the university and in the communications school here. And, the ones that are, eager and want to reach out and stuff and have that motivation, that, desire to learn, definitely want to get them the experience. And fortunately, we've had, really good success. My old boss, Brock, who used to work here now at the University of Miami, really built a pipeline of students, even after I, graduated and everything, and then came back to a really good pipeline of students. And it's been really good to have that. And then, they're able to kind of tell their friends and tell, classmates and stuff, hey, check this out if you're really interested in this type of thing. And that's really important for us because we do rely on students. That's pretty much 85 to 90% of our, staff. And then the rest are, when we need it, paid staff, paid part-time staff. But our students are really, we depend on them a lot because that helps us go in a school where we don't always get the necessary, help that we need. And they're willing to sacrifice and not get paid a lot of times to come in and do stuff on game day and work, the countless hours we need them to.
Absolutely. So before you kind of got back to UNF, we were talking about this last weekend, actually, when we were calling beach volleyball, but you spent some time at East Tennessee State University. You were there for 2 years, correct? And you were in a similar role. You oversaw production and staffing of all ESPN broadcasts for them, while also assisting with video shoots and other creative projects within athletics. So your role was a little more expanded at East Tennessee State University. What was it like there?
Yeah, so that was my first job out of college. And yeah, it was a little bit more expanded, but that was also in the job description just to, have some help. Their department is a little bit different. They're structured a little bit differently, where I had to, kind of a 70-30 split of mainly my stuff was my role was broadcast and students and ESPN Plus. And then the other 30% was when needed, I would help with, the creative stuff. So I definitely, I'll be the first to say I'm definitely more, I like the broadcast behind the scenes, doing the live productions and stuff more than the editing. I find more of a thrill in it, and I've just crafted my skills in that area more. So that other half, or that 30% where I was doing the creative stuff, I enjoyed it, but not as much as the broadcast. So that role was really good for me because I got my foot in the door at a university that actually had even more scaled down equipment than we do here. So I actually got to learn more and really, learn about the engineering side and the video side and a lot more things that when I came back here to UNF, I am able now to, I know a lot more about certain things in video and that I just was kind of forced into having to learn when I was at ETSU. But yeah, I really enjoyed, those 2 years. Obviously COVID kind of shut us down for 6 months, and, being in a job for 6 months during COVID, everybody knows that it was a really rough time for everybody. But for me, it was, it was tough. And so I just ended up moving back home and, found an opportunity here in Jacksonville, a little bit closer to my family and everything. But I think it really, that job definitely, wasn't a failure for, my career, with the COVID thing having a big impact on it, but it really did give me some experience that I needed. Had some great people I worked with, and we did some good stuff there. And, it's just, again, I'll say for people that are in this industry, that are trying to get in this industry, that, if you have to start like a mid-major school and you're not able to go, really high, it's good because you get exposed to being in the weeds and having to do a lot of things yourself and, troubleshoot a lot of things by yourself. And we even do that here. Luckily, we have some really good engineers that are able to work on game days for us. That can help even when I'm in a bit of a predicament. But for the most part, I mean, it's you're trying to you have to learn things and pick up on things to be able to do things by yourself sometimes, and learn about all different aspects of broadcasting and make things work. Because what people don't realize is it's really unique. It's not what you're watching on TV. It looks easy, but when people step into this control room for the first time, they look and they're like, look at all these monitors and everything, and they're like, what does that do? What does that do? So it's really cool. Like it's kind of weird to see that but like when people, it's kind of like, yeah, this is exactly what goes into it, and people are like still mind blown. But then once they pick up on it, it's like, oh, now I understand. So I think it helps the average person to kind of know how that works. And I follow a lot of behind the scenes social media accounts and stuff, and for me, I understand that now, but for the average person, they can go, whoa, okay, that it takes this many different things to get to where we have a broadcast on air and look and sound as good as it can.
No, that's pretty sick. It honestly, like, listening to you talk about this is pretty cool because you have a very intrinsic mindset. Like, you really like to be able to figure things out, and you need the space to be able to do it, but then also having the tools necessary to succeed. So it's cool how you transition through COVID and having that time to really figure things out, learn things on your own, and then you're able to really showcase your skills and talents here. And then the mindset, obviously, to have knowing that when you come into a broadcast room, how shocking it could be. It literally feels like you're in a airplane and you're about to fly a plane. There's so many knobs, so many dials, so many things blinking, like all the screens, you see everything. So that's super cool. Moving off of that, we talked a lot about the past, which I love, but we just did beach volleyball, and I'm super biased. I think it went excellent. I think that was very well done on your end. It made it very easy for us to go in there and just rock out, look at the talent. Everyone played well. I thought it was very good. Going forward, hate to put you on the spot, but going forward, what are some of the things you're excited for in this coming year? Obviously, finishing out spring strong, going into summer, going into next fall. What are some of the things you're excited about for the broadcast at UNF?
I would say just, every year kind of, we've improved in some way, shape, or form. And that's something our athletic director here, Dick Morrow, in any aspect, whether it's, the athletes, what they see, or the facilities or whatever, but in some way, shape, or form, every year we improve. And, we may not have the budget to do big scale upgrades every year. We have things that are changing and kind of changing the structure of how we want to do things here to create this position didn't exist 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
Bringing this position in full time to be able to oversee the entire broadcasts that land on ESPN Plus was huge. It was needed because schools that have that that don't have that, they struggle, and they rely on having to somehow budget out a outside production company to come in and stuff. So I'm looking forward to just the restructure and hopefully continuing that pipeline of, okay, there's somebody that oversees everything, and then having eventually, once the budget allows for it, to to bring in more people and interns and just build that intern pipeline, build the and get people experience at a level that is good to put on a resume to hopefully then get them to a point where they can start making the jump and getting to different points in their career. So that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to, we have, every semester we have at least 3 or 4 standout students that come in and pick up stuff really quickly. And so I think I'm excited to do that now that we have kind of had this full-time role here for 2 years, and being able to structure it where it's exclusively just broadcast, and making it to where all the students that want to do broadcast and production can do that, and all the students that want to do other things in athletics, they can do that. So it gives another avenue to then help our department, the broadcast and production, just give that, a good head of steam going forward, and continue that pipeline and be able to build it to when, for the future, and keep having successful candidates come in and just give them an opportunity as well. But those are the biggest things. Obviously every season, off season, it's like, if we're able to upgrade equipment and things, that's awesome. But it's more of just the structure. Now that we have something really good in place, and I think for our level of production, we've kind of hit a point with what we have to make it as good as we can. Obviously, if somebody were to come in and, if we were able to get a lot more money or something like that, it'd be awesome. But for what we have, and I tell people all the time, it's like, it's just trying to hone in that craft to what we make. We work with what we have. We give students the opportunity to learn on equipment that is industry standard. They're using it, most of the stuff on the big production trucks, at least in some capacity. And that's the goal, is in the end of the day, is just to get those students reps and, experience doing stuff. So hopefully, whether they, do or, whether in the news or in sports or whatever, they're able to go in and get a job or at least get some, experience elsewhere to then hopefully build their skill set.
It's super cool that, Alvin and I always say we appreciate you and all the work that you do in the ESPN broadcasting world. But it's so cool to see how much love you give to the interns and the people that are under you as well.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes the sports scene work, and for lack of a better phrase. When you're getting people started with their experience with you in that control room behind you that looks like madness, but also super sick. Do you get people started first when they first come in replay or graphics or audio? What is there a first thing that you get them into, and then once you get more experience, you move them on to the next thing? Where do they start? I'm assuming like you wouldn't have them start on audio on a day when, I'm there, because I get too excited sometimes on the broadcasts and they will have no idea what they're doing. I would say I'm probably hard to work with on an audio day, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay,
it can be. And that's, no. And that's anywhere you go. I mean, you watch, you listen to all sorts of broadcasters out there that are doing, March Madness and stuff. And you have to watch, and they obviously have, better equipment to where they can control, the popping and stuff when they do get, but they do have, there are audio guys out there that are probably like, having to basically monitor those levels all the time with how excited some of the broadcasters get all over the place. So it's not just you, Jesse, but
thank God.
It's yeah. But it's no, I would say audio is honestly, with our setup, probably one of the easier roles. So to answer that question after that, we do tend to try and get people on audio. Because once you audio in the control room is one of the first things that we want people on, because it lets them see what's going on around them. A lot of times students that start on audio, most of the time, they are able to start picking up the other things in succession because they understand. They're able to listen and kind of see everything happen without doing any of the other tasks. So if they pick up on it and they hone in on it and they're able to kind of get a feel for, okay, this is how this works, and kind of start seeing how things work by just sitting there. And, they have to obviously monitor audio levels, make sure nothing sounds horrible, make sure you guys sound as good as we need you to sound, so it's not bad going out to air. But if that's all good and everything's working as it should be, and they're not having to mess with levels too much, and, we don't have a windy day or anything like that, then they're able to kind of just sit there and, just listen to cues and things. And then also, kind of watch, and then that allows them to then, okay, I understand how this works, I understand how replay works, I understand. So you kind of just get those cues because you're listening to it the whole broadcast. But other than, and then to answer your question kind of more in full, we usually start students on cameras, because
that makes sense.
Cameras are not, they're important because you want the shots to look good, but a lot of the cameras in that we use, they're, it's a lot easier to use than some, little tiny point and shoot cameras. There's more control of what you're doing. You have zoom and focus controls. You have things that make it easier. And it's also a good step to get them acclimated to just the broadcast. You think camera's it's kind of scary because you're live, but it honestly is a lot easier than coming in here and doing like replay or graphics. So that's kind of where we start people, usually on audio or cameras. And then from there, we kind of just, have to assess who has, who is going to be good in certain areas. And sometimes you have students come in, they just want to do a camera. They get comfortable with that. And they're like, I love doing this. I don't really care about doing anything else. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But then you get some people that are like, okay, I like camera, but then they have a passion but they have like a desire to learn more. And you can tell by how good they are on camera that they would be good in other areas. So that's always the thing, is just starting out in a position where you're able to kind of watch and listen. You do have to pay attention, obviously, to what you're doing still. But it gives you, if you're on camera and you're listening to all the cues that the director's giving you, or listen to how replays work, you can come in and kind of maybe get a better feel for that when you do get in the control room, or if you shadow in the control room and just watch what's going on, because that's really how you learn. And then really there's, even roles in here where you have to just do it on game day live. Like you can get practice reps all the time, but until you have that pressure of it's live, it's an actual game, it's actually going to air, you're not going to feel that pressure any other time, even if you're trying to get reps on the switcher, or get reps on replay, or get reps on graphics. It's the live atmosphere that really kind of, that pushes you to like, okay, it's go time, and I gotta try and do my best because we know it's live. And the saying too is like, we know it's live, and if you mess up and it's live, forget about it. You can't go back and rewind it. It's over, and you make the mistake, and some mistakes are bigger than others, but it's most of the time you're able to cover it up, and people obviously realize that. We don't put pressure on them in that regard. We want them to be, we want the students to be, we want them to be comfortable. We don't want them to be too nervous, even though they do, but you just want them to be comfortable and know that this is a good learning space, and it's not the profession. It's not the Final Four. It's not, the Super Bowl or anything. It's we want them to learn and know it's a, low scale production. We're trying to make it as high scale as we can with what we got.
We're going to pause our interview with Kyle Johannes right there for a commercial break. And when we come back, you'll hear a lot more of him with Alvin and I next here on the Sports Scene. Whoa! Welcome back to the Sports Scene for our third segment, everyone. It's time to continue our talk with our favorite man in the sports media world, ESPN Plus's own Kyle Johannes. A man of
Kyle,
thrill. I like that.
I love that. So I'll speak for Jesse on this one. What gets us going is Roll Red.
Roll Red!
Oh,
dude, that makes me want to run through a wall before you say that right as we're about to come on air.
Like cameras, music, Roll Red. I'm like, all right, man. I felt the power of Kyle.
Roll Red, open the mics, let's go.
Let's hit it.
Dang.
Again, like you're blowing this out the water, man. You're crushing. It's honestly, I love hearing how much you care about the students, because I don't want to say that's lost in today's times, but it's different. I feel like growing up, at least for me in my circumstance, I had a lot of people that were looking out for me, like making sure I was good. Like, okay, like this is something that'll be good for you. This, a lot of people that had a solid guardrails for me to make sure I was on the road. And having someone like that in the college capacity, especially in an industry like this, that, could be a little cutthroat, could be a little niche, could be hard to get into, could be daunting for some. To have you out there doing that and really being a guardian shield is super cool. So hats off to you for that. And going off of that, my final question for you is, what would you say is the most difficult thing in broadcasting? When you're starting off, you're looking at a kid and they have the promise, they have the drive. What is something that you're weary of? Hey, I know this is something a challenge you're going to have to face. This is a little bit of adversity that you're going to have to deal with. What is some of those things that you've seen over your time, something that maybe you've experienced? And then how did you kind of create the actual area to succeed through that problem?
Yeah, I think I'll start off with my experience first. I mean, my first job at ETSU, East Tennessee State University, was I didn't get that job until 8 months after I graduated. So,
8 months.
Yeah, It was 8 months, yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, thankfully I had my parents to go, I was able to go live with them and
Yeah.
look for jobs and, but I would say it's difficult. A lot of what broadcasting, like a lot of, there are positions like mine in a lot of schools. But to get to that level, you have to get your foot in, you have to do your internship, you have to have that drive. And like I tell a lot of people, if that guy hadn't introduced me to this, and maybe I would have stumbled upon it later, but who knows? But had I not done, this as a student, I don't think I would have been where I am today, honestly, because
Wow.
it's all about the experience. It's all about the reps. And it's also about, like, I was super nervous the first time I came in. Wasn't even doing anything. I was just shadowing. I was literally I think they had me watching the guy run the replay system we had at the time. And I was watching, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And there was yelling happening. And I'm like, what is this? And, like, I don't know if I'll ever come back. And then I think what happened was, though, they were in that semester, didn't have a lot of students coming, especially for like volleyball. Because at that time, it's the same thing now. Like, a lot of the students prefer basketball. Obviously, it's an indoor sport. It's, it's a high energy sport. It's a popular sport. So people are going to want to watch that and do broadcasts for that. But anyway, we had volleyball and not a lot of people were showing up for stuff. So I think that first time I was like, yeah, I'll come back. And I think the next time I showed up, they're like, yeah, just show up on this date and, for this next game. So I think I came back the next day and they're like, you're going to run a camera. I'm like, okay, like this is nerve wracking.
Yeah.
But ended up being just the camera one, the game camera, just falling back and forth, a little nervous, but it was fine. So from that point forward, once I kind of got comfortable with that, I was like, I think I should keep doing this to get experience. I know if I don't get this experience now, I'm never going to get it, anywhere else. And but anyway, so back to the 8 months thing. I think it's just you have to build your resume. You have to be able to sell yourself and be like, look, I know this stuff. And, it can be hard sometimes doing that because it's not like you can, like guys who do creative video, they can make a reel and say it's their stuff. Well, for me, it's, I can, if I was doing replay or stuff, you can sell like your melts and stuff and like your highlight packages and all that. And, send those off to people and be like, this is what I did. But for directing, it's, yeah, you could set up a camera, but at the same time, it's just about, who word of mouth, knowing people that have, known what you've done. And, but that kind of gets you into freelance, like where you can get freelance. And that's where a lot of the money is. And what a lot of people do, going back to what I was saying, there are jobs out there, full-time jobs like mine, but if, to get the reps and then to get into the level of where, you're doing stuff for NBC or doing stuff for CBS or Fox or, ESPN, it's, that's where you have to start really networking and selling yourself and letting people know that, and then them letting other people know that, oh, this guy can do this and he would be good, or, so I think that's the biggest challenge. We have several students that always ask at the end of the semester, hey, how do I get a job in this? Well, it's not that easy. Like, you have to, especially if they're not, committing to the time or the effort to come in or, get really good at certain things. And then there's students that come in that are the complete opposite, where they're like really good. And I can let them roll with stuff and, get to a point where I feel comfortable with them running things and directing a show. And
oh, wow.
I've done that more this semester. And towards the end of last semester than I ever did as a student. And that was obviously when I was a student. So, but more the last year than we have in the last 3 or 4 years combined. So
that's awesome.
I've not had to sit down and do a position like 4 or 5 times this year. And it's been actually really kind of scary, but also like, I can let because you want to obviously look good and, people are going to make mistakes, but I've let it run and kind of been more comfortable because we've been able to get students to a level where they can do things. But to answer your question, yeah, it's just the challenge is definitely just in it's such a niche, unique it's a unique world that broadcast production, is, and you guys know it for being, trying to get in as play-by-play and, the announcing side, and it's the same thing on the broadcasting side too. Like, to get to that point of just being able to, have people, to where you can go freelance and do like one-off gigs, and then, but for a full-time job, it's definitely a unique one. And sometimes our engineer Kevin was telling one of our students the other day, it's just, you just have to keep knocking on the door until somebody, once you get in, you're in, for the most part. And that way you start building your experience and whatnot. But again, I'll say this as the last thought, is just the connections you have are the biggest thing. And if you know a guy that knows that you're good, and then he's able to tell another guy that he knows that, hey, so-and-so is really good at this, you should call him if you ever need somebody for this. That's where it really can start your, getting to know and have that word of mouth where you're able to be part of a broadcast, be part of a crew anywhere. And that's kind of my goal one day, is to get to that point as well.
You're going to get there. We're all getting there together, Kyle.
Yes.
Final question for you, Kyle, as we roll red here. Wow, I just can't believe you brought that up, Alvin. That is easily... It's like taking natural pre-workout. Like, it's literally natural pre-workout. Whenever you say roll red, Kyle, I'm like, all right, I'm about to go run out onto the court myself and put some shots up or something. So you've done what? Tennis and volleyball, beach volleyball, men's and women's basketball, track, soccer. Is there any new sport you'd like to try? Your hand at directing or producing?
I would try anything. My favorite is obviously basketball. It's always been my favorite to watch, produce, be behind, be in a crowd, be anywhere for. I'm trying to think new sports. There is a guy I follow from Harvard on social media that they're an Ivy League school, obviously, and they have at least, I think it's over 40 sports. So I think it'd be cool, like 1 or 2 times, to try like those really out there sports, like I don't know,
like rowing or
alpine
something,
skiing or rowing.
Yeah, there we go.
Or like, so what's cool about those is like, yeah, exactly, yeah. What's cool about those sports is I think for me, it's more about just the types of shots you could get. It's not about the excitement of the game. Which is why basketball is always my favorite. Like, the excitement of a college basketball game is just so good. Like, it's
unmatched.
It's through the roof. Like, yeah. And if you get a really good game buzzer beater, I mean, it's exciting. I've been part of a couple really good ones, both here and when I was at ETSU. High energy, high crowd atmosphere, big crowd atmosphere. Lots of noise. Just chaos, but like able to still make it look really cool. So that's a basketball, but for those other sports like alpine, X Games, stuff, you're able to pull like drones and stuff out, do like all these unique shots that are just really cool to like showcase. And I've seen, obviously, with the advancement of technology and everything nowadays, you see drones being used like live broadcasts on Fox or NBC, and so I think for those non-unique like the unique sports like those, it's just really cool to see what types of shots you get, because a lot of times, especially like rowing or anything like that, where you're outside in like a big area, that's the only way you can really cover the sport. It's tough to have cameras in 7 different locations to capture those events, whereas if you have a drone, you're able to just kind of follow things and do it wirelessly and bring it back. So stuff like that would be cool, I think, just for that aspect of like the production and what you're doing. But it'll always be basketball in my opinion, just because it's such a high energy sport, and you can do so much with a small space to produce something really, really cool. But there are definitely sports out there that I've always been like, oh yeah, that's really cool, and definitely I'm not interested in watching it all the time, but just to see like the unique shots you're able to get with it. So
It's more for
That
playing
would be
around
the
with the
reason.
technology that goes into the broadcast is what you'd
Yeah,
be more
exactly.
interested in. I mean, you could
Exactly,
you could
yeah.
get like on a jet ski or something and have like a camera with
Oh
like,
yeah,
a waterproof something and then go along. I feel like that would be something you'd really enjoy, right?
I'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Kind of scary, but like it's like the guys at the Tour de France, like that are doing the bikes, like they're on the
Yeah.
motorcycles and they're following. It's like they're following the guys all day on a motorcycle. Like that'd be like, what if you fall? What if they crash or something? That'd be so scary. But no, it's really cool. I mean, it's really what people have come up with over the years to do stuff like that, and to how you get the shots is kind of what makes this industry so. It continues to evolve and just what you can do. And that's the other thing too about it is just, everybody has ideas and you can steal ideas and do things because it's used everywhere. It's the same, like you're doing the same thing some of the ideas I have are just from watching, the big productions and then just bringing it, and not obviously doing it to that extent of scale they're doing it to, but you're able to evolve with what everybody else is doing, kind of share the ideas, because that's what's really cool about the broadcast, like the live production community of what people are doing. It's just everybody wants to succeed and everybody wants to have their stuff look as cool as the other person. So,
Final question as we're getting out of here: who is more fun to work with, Alvin or I?
Oh man,
wow,
that's crazy.
Wow,
Yo.
that's a tough. Oh man, wow.
And there's one right
you guys
answer.
are both.
Ah.
You guys are both fun. No, you guys are both fun to work with. You guys definitely bring the energy, which is needed sometimes because, if you go watch some broadcasts nowadays, it's like, no offense to like the old timer, the guys that have done
You
stuff
could
for
say it.
years,
The old
but
timers, yeah.
yeah, like it's just like you want energy, and one of my favorite things about broadcasters is like, one of my favorite things about being in this is being able to hear what different calls are out there and like what people do to adapt. And obviously signature people like Mike Breen has his famous bang call after a 3-pointer, just certain guys have. But yeah, having that energy is what. If it was just a guy just talking in a monotone voice for 3 hours, I couldn't do a baseball game. Baseball's already tough because it's a long.
Hold on. I'm not going to tolerate this baseball slander, Kyle. Really? You literally broadcast baseball games at UNF.
No, I know. No, I love baseball. Baseball can be so much fun, but you know what I mean. Like if you. What I'm saying is you guys have such an excitement. When you guys have the excitement you guys have, it makes it really fun to sit there and listen to and then produce the game, because that's what feeds off like your guys' calls, announcers' calls into the broadcast are what feed the energy of what the viewer at home is getting, and it feeds our energy in here too, because it just makes it more chaotic.
Good.
Having to
what we're going for. Kyle Johannes on the sports scene, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming on, and we hope to have you again soon. One more segment coming up in a sec. Hey, yo, welcome back to the sports scene for our final segment. With everything going on in March Madness, besides the play on the court, there's a lot of things going on off the court. Mainly, all of the mascots that we've been seeing at March Madness coming in and out of the games, doing crazy stuff. I saw one mascot chug a beer. So they're having a lot of fun with it. And then I got to thinking, you know what? There's some really interesting mascots here that I might not know where they're from. And if I don't know where they're from, you can be damn sure that Max and Alvin do not know where they're from. So we're going to play a game today called Who the Hell Is That? I'm going to give Max and Alvin going back and forth. They're each going to get a chance to take a shot at guessing what school a specific mascot is from. If one of them doesn't get it, the other one gets to steal. I will give them both a hint. There are all 4 number 1 seeds somewhere in this entire game. So all 4 number 1 seeds in the men's tournament, their mascots will be represented in this game somewhere. I won't tell them where. There are also 2 mascots that they will each get that literally have their insignia on them. And I made sure of it. So it's almost like a freebie for Max and Alvin. If they don't get it, then that's pretty pathetic. And at this point in time, I should tell the viewers and listeners out there that while this will be a game that is visual, you can still listen to it on iHeartRadio. I will be saying the names of each of the mascots. But for the visual component, it might be best now to tune over to YouTube on Chilltown Hoops YouTube, presented by Sports Fluent Media, and go on the sports scene there so you can watch the rest of this episode because it's a very visual component to end this off. All right, Max, Alvin, are you guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
Kind of.
Okay, good. Well, Max,
Definitely not ready, but
Max, we're going to start with you. Your first one is the duck.
Oh.
What school is the duck?
Oregon.
You are correct, Max.
Yep,
That's
come
1
on.
point for Max.
I know the Pac-12.
You
RIP.
do. Okay, good. Yeah, big RIP. Alvin, you're up next. The Blue Devil.
Duke.
You are correct, sir. 1 point for Max, 1 point for Alvin. Max, the next one's for you. His name is Pete.
Oh, dude, that's Purdue.
That is actually Purdue. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, I know those colors.
Purdue, Pete. Alvin, Sparty.
Let's go Draymond Green, Michigan State.
No, you are correct, sir. That is a great one, Alvin. Sparty, it is. So that's 2 for Max, 2 for Alvin. Max, Catman. Oh, it'll get worse. Don't you worry.
Oh. That's Auburn.
Max,
I think he
incorrect. Come
just
on,
shuddered.
man.
He just shuddered.
His insignia is literally on his chest. This was your gimme.
Is that
Alvin.
not Auburn?
Alvin,
I want
who
to
is
say
it?
it's not Virginia. It's Virginia State. One of the 2, I think. Yeah, let's just go Virginia. I think it's State. Oh, bro. Let's go Virginia State. No, let's go Virginia. Virginia. Lock it in Virginia.
Alvin, holy
Lock
mackerel.
it in Virginia. We locked it in.
Than Max right now. What is it? Virginia. You are correct. It is Virginia. You got it correct. All right, Max. That was your gimme. You might actually have another one in here that should be a gimme for you.
I would have never guessed Virginia.
But that is fully Virginia's insignia with the 2 swords. The next one is that was Alvin Steele, so actually Alvin gets to guess this next one. Alvin, Ramses the Ram.
I want to say North Carolina Tar Heels, but yeah, I was in North Carolina. It's the only thing that comes to head.
It is North Carolina. You are correct, sir.
That's what I was going to say.
Yep. So the Tar Heels, Ramses the Ram. Ram is actually a Tar Heel. The next one is for you, Max. The General.
Oh, dude, I have no idea.
This team was the women's.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
And this team was in the women's and the men's.
The General.
Ooh.
Who's red and yellow?
They're not a high seed in the men's tournament. They were a high seed in the women's tournament.
All right. Okay, now I just have to think of a random school name because I have no idea.
Obviously, the General is its school's colors.
Yeah.
And you got to think about, what does it look like? What? You got a deduction here.
Yeah,
it's red and yellow. Mainly red.
Wow.
It's red.
No way. That's not the colors? Holy crap.
What animal is it?
Right, we got Sherlock on the case right now. Dang.
I would have been able to figure this one out. I knew this one.
All right. Well, I mean, listen. It's not ASU, but those are the colors there. And then the next one.
What's the animal?
I mean, it looks like the Jayhawks. So I'm gonna have to go Kansas State.
No,
that's the best. That's the best I can give.
Incorrect. Alvin, a chance to steal.
So this is either because it's Gamecocks or it's whatever NC State's mascot is. Those are where we're at. But because it's a bird, I'm saying go Cox. He said high seed for women. Yeah, let's go Cox. Let's go Cox here.
It is the Gamecocks. Go Cox, baby. South Carolina. So Alvin's up 5-3
Hey man, we're kind of cooking right
on
now.
Max now. Wow. All
I would
right.
have never got that.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I see the C on the glove.
Where?
Oh, I
On
was
the
looking
red
at
glove?
that.
Right here?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
looking at that.
I've been cheating, bro. I'm not gonna lie to
I didn't
you.
even catch
joint's
that.
right
Nice.
there.
No,
I was gonna
good
say,
call.
Alvin, are you cheating? Okay, Alvin, Handsome Dan.
Bro, look at that. Yeah, that's Yale. Either Yale or BYU.
Yeah.
BYU singing, so let's go Yale.
It is Yale. You are correct, sir. Handsome Dan, not looking so handsome in that one.
Yeah,
So
but I was
Alvin's up
looking
6-3 right now. Max, your next one, Jonathan the Husky.
I'm
Also,
gonna
I'd
go
like to
UConn.
point out that is absolute Max.
yeah.
There you go. You got
Yep.
one back.
I just had a feeling.
Yeah,
I had a feeling.
yeah. That was good. Okay. All right, Alvin. The next one is for you. This should be a gimme. Wilbur and Wilma.
I think that's an A. Yeah, let's go Arizona.
That is Arizona. You were correct. That was your gimme.
Oh, nice.
All right, Alvin, 7-4 right now. All right, Max. Ralphie the Buffalo.
All right, who are the Buffaloes?
Come on. I know Alvin's got this. It's you both. We're so high on this team.
Oh, wait. It was,
You
Send it to
both
him,
know
Tug.
this.
Right
You
there.
both know this.
Right there.
oh,
You know
it's the
this.
Buffaloes. Oh, it has to be Houston.
How did
Max.
you do this?
Max,
How
how
did
did
you get
you
here?
fumble the
How did you
bag that
get
hard?
here?
Alvin.
Oh, wait, no, I remember now.
Okay.
No, just give me a chance. Give me a chance. Just give me a chance. Just give me a chance.
That's what she always says, but she's not
Just give me
coming
a
back,
chance.
Max. All
All right,
right,
Colorado,
I'll
right?
give you one chance. I'll give you one
Oh.
chance because
Only 'cause I'm
Alvin's blowing you out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just make
Yeah.
it interesting. Oklahoma. Bang. Lock it.
That's so incorrect as well. Are you kidding me?
I said it
No.
already.
Oh,
Are you
man.
freaking, what is
All right.
happening?
Well,
Alvin,
I
who
have
is
nothing
it?
else.
Colorado. I was like, damn. Can you hear me?
Oh.
It is Colorado. It is
Okay,
the
bet.
Buffaloes. Ralphie the Buffalo, they run him around before the games for the Buffaloes when they're playing at home for Coach Prime and the crowd. But I'm obviously, they have an actual mascot inside for basketball.
Imagine a Buffalo.
They can't run a full Buffalo around a basketball court, an indoor basketball court. I don't think that's allowed. So anyways, Ralphie the Buffalo, Max. Man, that was a major swing and miss. Max, we'll give you a shot. Shasta the Cougar.
Bro, I'm cooked. Like, that was all my energy.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
I'm just going to say.
Okay.
I'm going to say Houston. That's it.
Yes.
Only 'cause it was red.
Baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Only
that
'cause
was
it's red.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
We're back on
That was the
track.
only reason why. That was
Now we're back
literally
on
the
track.
only thing that came in my mind when I saw this thing.
Yes,
After that, I knew I was done.
Now we're back on track. So Max has 5. Alvin has 8 right now. Shasta
All right, give me the next
Cougar. Obviously, the Houston Cougars.
Give me the next one until I tie up.
All right.
Give me the
sounds
next
good.
one.
Big Al the Elephant.
Big Al, the
Who looks
elephant.
mighty fine there. He's giving you a little Valentine's Day heart right in front of you. Also, there's no way you shouldn't be able to get this.
I was like, dog, come on.
I'm gonna go Ohio
This team's
State.
still in the tournament.
He said Ohio State, bro.
Oh no. They lost very
Cooked, man.
lost.
Get them off the stove.
Max, I'll give you a hint. They're still in the tournament.
Mate, that's
There's
my
4
best
teams
guess.
left.
Definition of a
They're one of the
participation award.
4.
That's my best guess.
He said Ohio.
I don't want a second chance. Give it to him.
Alvin. Who is it?
Alabama.
It is Alabama.
Oh,
You're correct.
that's correct.
Roll
That's right.
Tide.
Yep.
I should have got that.
Yep.
Man,
That makes
break it
sense.
down.
Yep.
The
so
hindsight's
Alabama-
2020.
Yep. So Alabama is the Crimson Tide. So Max, we're gonna keep giving these to you. Here we go.
Yep.
Bucky Badger.
Dude,
I'll
I
lie
just
to you.
see the gears trying to turn, and there's so much rust on them.
this is a human rights violation at this point.
We'll give Max 2 guesses for every Alvin one.
So-
Starting off now.
Somewhere in Texas.
Incorrect. That was your
All
first guess of the 2. So your second guess.
Okay, it's not
Think the exact
Texas.
opposite.
North Dakota.
Oh, another great guess. Incorrect. Alvin.
Please, Wisconsin.
It is Wisconsin. You are correct.
Oh, the Badgers. Wisconsin Badgers.
Yep, the Wisconsin Badgers. Frank Kaminsky. That's where I first
Yeah.
even thought about
Russell
the
Wilson.
Badgers. Yep. Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, Max. Bevo.
Bro.
Come on. This is the easiest one, I think.
Longhorns. Longhorns.
Hey,
Yes.
That's cool.
Texas
They're the Texas Longhorns. Yes, okay.
Just give me that. That's the best.
Okay.
What is that?
Was good.
What is that?
Was good.
Texas.
The Longhorns, yeah, the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah.
You were correct. University of
Texas
Texas.
Longhorns.
Yeah.
University of Texas. Bang.
Yes.
See, listen. I'm a seer. I'm a future teller. I knew Texas was coming up next.
Yes. Okay.
I was right.
So now you're trailing 10-6, Max. All right. Blaze the Dragon.
I'm just gonna go with South Dakota.
But South
Good
Dakota's
guess.
on default.
Hold on to that, by the way. Good guess. Incorrect.
Pass. Give it to
Okay.
me.
Alvin, who is it?
Yeah.
Who is it? Okay.
That could
Okay, Alvin, who is it?
UAB. We literally just called beach volleyball with them, right?
It is University of Alabama, Birmingham. That is,
Yeah,
I
man.
saw this mascot and I was like, who the heck is that? It is University of Alabama, Birmingham. Okay, Alvin has 11, Max has 6, and we have 4 more to go. So Max, you get these all right, you're still going to lose.
Yeah,
But we want you to...
Yeah, you're cooked.
All right,
No,
here we go.
It's still a great story.
Thunder the Antelope.
Oh, dude, come on. Let's go. Easy.
Really?
Grand Canyon University, baby. Let's go.
Oh! What? Are you serious?
I mean, it's right there,
You saw the
GCU, but
Okay, good, good.
I've also
Good.
been to that school before.
Why would you go to Grand Canyon University?
Listen, man, I've been around. I've been there. They have a nice. I think they have one of the nicest arenas for basketball.
They
Like-
do. You are correct. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Max,
See,
I'm
come on.
thoroughly impressed
Wow.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was playing you guys the entire time. Let's go. Next one.
All right. Yeah. Run it up. Zippy the Zips.
Oh, Arkansas
Zippy.
State.
No, I will give you another guess though, because you saw the A. I know you saw the A. By the way, Grand Canyon is the Antelopes. So, but this is I'll give you a hint. These guys, while he looks very deranged, that is theoretically a kangaroo.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Just let him take
Really?
it.
Okay.
That was my best guess.
I can't remember if it's called Alcorn or what. It's in Ohio.
Alcorn State?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Alcorn State or something like that.
Yeah, that's also incorrect. This
No.
is Akron. Max, the Jackrabbit.
Whoa. The only thing I can say
No,
is
just-
San Diego State.
No.
Dude,
What?
you were
That-
saying-
Oh,
No.
wait. Bleep. South Dakota State University,
No,
baby.
you
Let's go.
remember I said hold on to that one.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
There you go. South
There we
Dakota
go.
State is the Jackrabbit. So
I just got memorized by those things.
our
Sorry.
final one, Big Red. Max,
Big Red.
this is the weirdest one.
I'm gonna
I'll give you
go
a
with.
hint. Big Red hit the mascot. He is literally, and I'm not even making this up, their mascot is a blob. That's what their mascot is. It's a blob.
I'm just gonna go with Boston College.
Oh, great guess. Incorrect. Alvin, what do you think?
I'm saying NC State just because that's the only number one or only team you haven't said. So yeah, NC State.
That is a great guess. Incorrect. But I actually have another slide for you guys. Max, with this now, can you get it? Big Red Part 2.
Yeah.
Wichita.
What about this screams Wichita to you?
W.
What about the K and the U?
West
Okay,
Kentucky.
there you go. Oh,
University.
yes! You did it! You're still a loser because you lost to Alvin, but you actually got it. Oh my goodness. That was like pulling teeth out of my butt. Anyways, thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Alvin and Max. One day you'll get it. And thank you all for tuning in today to the show on iHeartRadio Podcasts, and YouTube. You want a little more sports madness in your life? Well, tune back in on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe to us at Chilltown Hoops on YouTube. And please rate, comment, and download the show everywhere else. And next week, we'll be back with a lot more sports talk. So stay tuned. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you right back here on the Sports Scene with Jesse O, presented by First Bet and Sports Fluent Media.